What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our Week 13 NFL preview and picks. As always, I got Ethan joining me here to break down this week's biggest games, the festivities on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and obviously the big games this weekend. But before we can do that, we got to talk about last week. And, it looked pretty promising for us through the 4 o'clock games. And then obviously the Sunday night and Monday night were the two where we really picked different. And obviously you got the better of me then.
Oh yeah, we just by one game though. Not really much of a contest here in the it's pretty it'd be a pretty steep climb to come back here for you. But just breaking down some of the best games. Obviously the Snow Bowl Thursday night, that was depressing. Houston with a loss, which we were really not, none of us were expecting it for sure. Other than that, Washington, Dallas, big win. Got some Cooper Rush played out, kind of balled out. Seattle with a big statement win, like you were talking about last week. And that's about all for last week for me. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to look at the Bears. This team has just been screwed the last few weeks, both against divisional opponents, blocked field goal, and losing OT on a field goal. So you flip the script. Bears are 6-5, and I think that gets more notice than it is. Obviously, you can say that about a lot of teams losing at the end, but the Bears are playing some good football, and I think the Lions Bears game could be a good one. And then, like you said, I think it was more interesting to see the Rams and Chargers not really show up in these big games where you think they would because it's national prime time. But Washington is a team that is struggling as we're heading into this week as they can't figure it out, and neither can our locks. We can't really figure it out here these last few weeks. Another three
Yeah.
and three week for me. I took the Chicago covering by half a point, and then I didn't really have to sweat the Packers game either.
Yeah, I didn't really have to sweat the Tampa Bay -6. Kind of a blowout there. George Kittle scored real nice and early, but I didn't know about Brock Purdy being injured. Obviously, that would have changed something, but just these over-unders are rough. And Kenneth Walker didn't score last week to help me to get to 3-3. But this week is a new week, and we got Thanksgiving, so we got a lot of games where actually both of us are starting. I'll start off here this time. Detroit -9.5 versus Chicago. I believe that is to open up Thanksgiving. And then the Giants +3.5. I'm taking them to cover. I think there's going to be a close game. Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, touchdowns. And then Miami Green Bay over 47.5. And then my other one will be on Sunday, will be Chargers Atlanta. They're going to be under 47.5. These odds are not very good.
Yeah,
But
no, they're not for us compared to what we have been showing you guys, but maybe that means more likely of a chance of happening. I'm
yeah.
taking my Packers -3 versus Miami. I think Miami has shown us in the last few years that they can't play in the cold, and it's going to be cold in Green Bay. Vegas beat Kansas City twice last year. I know it was a different team assembled. They got to get over that hump, and I think it's going to be closer than 13. Tennessee is playing some good football. Commanders are struggling to get by. Give me the Titans 6.5 and Arizona +3.5. I think that game's going to be decided by a field goal, so I like the points. And then obviously pretty much essential biggest locks of the week. Parlay it if you're going to bet on that game. Barkley and Henry to each score, get your better odds.
Oh, yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about this week. The game sit, we are not going to talk about much, but we're both going with the Chargers and the Texans. Pretty self-explanatory there. Chargers going to bounce back. Falcons are kind of blah. Texans need a win to really, I don't want to say keep up the AFC South race because the Colts are the second best team. Sooner or later, it's going to get ugly for the Texans. Then I'm taking the Cardinals on the road in Minnesota. I think the Cardinals are going to bounce back with that loss in Seattle. And Minnesota's due for one of these losses. Just seems like they play too many close games. And then I'm actually taking the Patriots at home. They've played some good football under Drake May, and the Colts are really probably the biggest hit or miss team this year because they could drop 30 on you at any point, or they could pull out what they did against the Lions last week and not show up.
Yeah, I would add on with the Falcons. I think they could get back this week to playing good football, but the Chargers defense is basically why I'm taking them. The Chargers defense has been playing really good ball, and I think they're going to get back to it this week. So there you go. And I'm also going to change my pick on that bottom left, going with the Cardinals on the road because I think you just told me to pick the Cardinals basically. So
hmm
going with them, and then I'm going with the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson is bringing them a spark. They'll get this win here on the road. It's kind of a boring game, but yeah, and then the Texans as well.
Yeah, and then we'll move to the next four games, and this one's kind of copy and paste. Seahawks, Commanders, Rams, Bucks. I mean, I guess the only one you could probably toss up would probably be the Rams, Saints, just because those two teams are kind of undecided right now. And obviously the Saints with a new head coach. They're playing some good football, and Bucks probably should blow out the Panthers, even though Bryce Young's playing better. Commanders need a win. They've lost three in a row. And Titans are playing some better football under Levis now that he's healthy. And then the Jets is just a dumpster fire at this point, and the Seahawks are rolling.
Yeah, the Seahawks are rolling. I think this would be a big spot for them. This is a trap game for them as well, though. So I don't know. It's hard to bet for the Jets. I'm never going to pick the Jets, but could be a trap game for Seattle. And then Washington, like you said, they really need this win. Titans aren't playing great, but Will Levis and that offense is playing better, along with their defense is always pretty good. Yeah, so the Commanders, Jaden Daniels finally running a little bit more, but we need to see more of that. If they need it, if they don't need it this week, then they just need to get a win. But we're gonna need to see that more from Jaden Daniels moving forward, I think.
And then we'll move to our Thanksgiving Day games. Bears, Lions, Lions, what they're doing this year is even better story than I think what they did last year. So I'm going the Lions obviously at home. I think this is going to be their first Thanksgiving win in I can't remember when, because obviously last year they lost to the Packers, year before they lost to the Bills. And I think it goes back in a while. The Lions historically, the last 10 years have not been good on Thanksgiving, but I think that narrative is due to change, and I think this is the year they get it started.
Yeah, I'm obviously agreeing here. I took them -9.5, so I am going to take the Lions. Caleb Williams had a big day for the first time, so that's a good start. If you're a Bears fan, it's a nice thing to see. But the Lions are just a better team, and they've just been rolling. So I'm going to see that continuing here on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then our next Thanksgiving Day game, Giants, Cowboys. It's going to be on TV, but I don't think I'm going to be watching it. So give me
Oh,
the Cowboys at home, battle of the backups here. And the only way the Cowboys win this game is because they have the better defense. That's probably it.
yeah, I think I don't know, man. Taking the Giants here. It's gonna be boring. I'm probably not gonna watch it, but I'm gonna take the Giants here. I think Tommy DeVito is bound to just go off here and ruin the Cowboys' Thanksgiving, ruin America's Thanksgiving.
And while I might be falling asleep on the couch after being stuffed from all that turkey, I got to be watching my favorite team, the Packers. And I think they're going to show up and prove to the nation, if they haven't already proven it, that they can win these big games in prime time and get to 9-3. I think it's going to have to come on the back of Jordan Love, even without Romeo Dobbs, his top target, at least target wise. They're going to have to run the ball. And, Josh Jacobs, what he did last week, remarkable against the Niners defense. As long as Jacobs is healthy, this run game is playing well, I think it's going to be tough to stop the Packers, honestly. It's not high powered, but it definitely not a team you want to face in the third, fourth quarter when they have a lead.
Yeah, I think the Packers, if they can run the ball, that'll be a very big advantage for the Packers. But I do think the Dolphins will be able to score as well. Their offense has quietly come back to life with Tua, so give them their credit there. But I do think if the Packers could run the ball and not put too much pressure on Jordan Love, I think it should be an easy game. I mean, I don't see the Dolphins scoring 31 plus, and I think the Packers could put up those numbers. So especially if Jacobs puts up another performance, and I think he'll do that with the everything that's been going on with him recently. So.
And then Friday, the Black Friday game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Raiders, Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs here at home. Like I said, I'm taking the Raiders 13 and a half, 13 points. Chiefs, I think they're just going to keep on winning. And, it was ugly last week, but that's what great teams do. They find ways to win games. And I think they're going to find another way to win this one, get to 11-1 and keep that big lead in the AFC West.
Yeah, I'm with you here. The Raiders play them well. I think it'll be a closer game, like you said. Plus 13 is pretty nice. But Black Friday, I'll be working during this game, so I do think the Chiefs are going to win. I think it'll be an under type of game. Defense, both ways through. I don't think Mahomes will have a big day. So unfortunately for you, because I know you play me this week.
He's dropping 40. And you know who else is going to drop 40? Probably Jamar
Joe,
Chase. Let's be
Joe
honest.
Burrow.
This dude, him and Burrow, I don't know. It doesn't matter who they face, whatever team, best defense in the league. Steelers are going to give them a run for their money.
T.
But I
Higgins
think,
might have a big day.
yeah, I think one receiver is going to go off,
Mhm.
and I think that's why the Bengals win this game because they have a little more depth at receiver and a little more star power. It is at home, and like I told you before we started this is their playoff game here. The Bengals have to win this game to even have a chance to get into the playoffs, in my opinion, because winning out, going 9-8, winning five in a row, ripping that off is tough to do, and there's always room for one slip up if you start to get hot. And I think the Bengals have to start it this week. You know, they've been so close to winning these games, but the way they're playing, flip the script. I think they should be 7-4.
Yeah, I would agree with you that they need to win this game and that they could be 7-4 as well. But I think just the way that their season's been going, I'm taking the Steelers. They've needed to win a lot of these games, and I've taken them. I think obviously I'm taking the Steelers here, biased pick or not, but I'm going to give you a reason. I think the Steelers they always play the Bengals good, especially on the road. It doesn't matter. Burrow's going to have a tough game, and the Bengals always seem to just mess it up. I don't doubt that Burrow and Chase and all them are going to have a good day, but Bengals just always seem to mess it up, and the Steelers always seem to win these games, close games. So give me the Steelers.
And then this is probably the most anticipated running matchup that you'll see all year. Saquon, Derrick Henry, top two running backs in the league this year, both getting MVP votes if it were to end right now. I'm going to go with the Eagles on the road. I think this game speaks volumes to what kind of teams we see in these big situations. I think Ravens, they have the opportunity in front of them to, like you said, grow their lead, possibly in the AFC, whether it's the wild card or possibly in the AFC North. And they just kind of fall in these kind of games. I feel like, they stay not around 500, but not where they should be. We see it time and time again come playoff time. This team struggles. And I think this is kind of one of those games. And I think the Eagles are going to take advantage of that. Now that they have Saquon, the possibilities are endless. Let's be honest. Eagles fans, I'm sure you're very happy with what's going on this year. And it's a new look Eagles team, that's for sure. DeAndre Swift was 1A. I think what they have with Saquon is just out of this world, and I don't think they can get any much better.
Yeah, Saquon's had a great year. So is Derrick Henry, though. I think. I mean, and obviously the NFC, Lamar facing off against the NFC. He has a stupid record. So they're
23
playing
and
at
1,
home. Yeah, what is it again?
23 and 1, I believe.
Yeah, so 23-1. I just don't see him losing. Like that's insane. So give me the Ravens here at home. It's gonna be one of the games of the week, which is why we're talking about it because we only talk about the best games. But let's go Ravens. Not really, but Ravens are winning this game for sure.
Yeah, not no bias, but we got to go here. And if I'm taking no bias, I want to take the Niners if everybody's healthy. I'm not gonna just because of their struggles this year, but the Bills, what they're doing is pretty good. Um, Kind of like we expect them, but like the Ravens, this team has to show up in the playoffs. Someone has to dethrone the Chiefs, and until then, there's that big question mark around Buffalo and Baltimore as well, where can they get past Mahomes? And they're not playing Mahomes this week. It's prime time, cold weather. San Francisco's flying out to Buffalo this time of year. Give me the Bills at home.
Yeah, it's gonna be too cold in there for the Niners. It's gonna be all Bills fans, all Bills, and I feel like they might get snow. I don't really know, but I feel like it might be a snow type of game. It'd be a vibe. I'm going Buffalo here at home. Sunday Night Football.
And Monday Night Football could be the same thing. Cleveland's already played in that snowstorm. Denver
Yeah.
could get some snow. And if that's the case, I don't think it really matters for both these teams because they both like to run the ball with play action mixed in. And what Bo Nix is doing this year, he might win Rookie of the Year if we're going to be completely honest, because the way he's turned this Broncos team around in just 1 year has really, I think, taken the league by storm, kind of like the CJ Stroud experience last year, except the Broncos have a better defense, let's be honest, this year. And they could squeak into the playoffs, which is pretty crazy if they win this game at 8-5 and be a team you don't want to play in the wild card, even though they're probably going to have to go on the road. But the Broncos defense and a run game travel, and if Bo Nix can get a few throws, which I think he's going to do in this game, because Cleveland obviously doesn't have the weather to their advantage this week. Broncos, I think, are going to win this one pretty comfortably.
Right. With that being said, I mean, it's nice. I think the Broncos are going to win, and a good win for the Browns last week. It's nice to see Jameis Winston play, but yeah, I like the Broncos a lot, and going with them here again this week. And I think they're going to improve to 8-5, and it's going to be really interesting coming down to the playoffs. And It's gonna be, happy Thanksgiving to
Yeah, exactly. And just like that, we're out.